we shall we'll continue, sir, once the smooth audio connection gets done.
Okay, go. I will
He's
speak.
trying
I
to
will speak.
connect.
I will speak.
Okay, okay. I first now request Professor M.N. Huda, sir, Director, Bharati Vidyapeeth Institute of Computer Applications and Management, and Vice Chairperson, IEEE Delhi Section, to please address the participants with his inspiring words.
Am I audible clearly, now, Ayushi?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Clear, sir.
I'm also traveling in car. So, good evening,
Yes.
one and all. At the outset, let me take this opportunity to welcome our valued speaker today, Professor Subramaniam Krishnamurthy, sir, who also has been the former chairperson of IEEE Delhi section. Dear friends, I take this opportunity to pay my gratitude and thanks to all my friends from various professional societies, including the main person behind continuing this uh, collaboration with IEEE, Professor Subrata Mukhopadhyay, sir, and above all, my participants from various parts of the country and abroad. Because of participation, this program is being organized as this program. Dear friends, the today's topic which we have organized, which we have scheduled is very important and very innovative. In fact, if we see the kind of the situation with which we are going on, we are in a pure digital age where everything in and around us is an electronic gadget connected in one or other way to the internet environment. And because it is connected in one other way to the internet environment, it is creating so much of threat challenge to all of us. That challenge is manifold. Whether it's a mobile device, whether it's a tablet, or any other devices which you see now when we are is connected, our video system is connected, our music system is connected with the net. The way devices are increasing to get connected on the internet, the probability of occurring of the cyber crime is also increasing. And that's how earlier it used to be said that a poor person doesn't lock the home because he was of the opinion that there's no valuable in the home to be locked. Now we are talking of, instead of locking the room, can we lock our cyber environment in a way so that the people are not going to cheat us? But while talking this, let's also understand the background about the mindset and about the entire ecosystem in which the changes has happened in last almost 2 to 3 decades. Many of you might have remembered, and many of you might have also gone through that age when we were students, maybe around 40 years ago. We used to write our diaries, and if anyone used to read our diary without our permission, we used to become so angry, so fed up, and keep on asking, how dare you read my diary without my permission? That was the age when we used to keep things in a private domain and then decide that which all can go in a public domain and which all should remain in a private domain. But the moment you are connected to an internet environment, everything is in public domain, and the people are fascinated to such an extent that you can imagine that people maybe during pleasure trip or excursion trip moving from Delhi to Kashmir. So maybe a month ago they book the ticket, they plan it, and immediately they post it on their Facebook page, on their LinkedIn page, or maybe in other Instagram and social media sites with some stories that during from so and so date to so and so date I will be traveling at so and so places. And then the day they start their journey, then they post it, I have started from my home, and now by tomorrow morning at so and so time I will reach to Srinagar. And then maybe after 2 hours they keep on giving the live status and post on the social networking sites that now I'm taking maybe breakfast at Karnal, or maybe taking dinner at Patni Top, etc., etc. We are forgetting the situation that the moment we are putting all these in private information in a public domain on social networking sites, there are thieves available who will be again planning that on so and so date you will be moving from your home to for the Srinagar trip. Then on so and so date they will be coming from their home with some big tempo or truck at your home, will have lunch. You are having say dinner at Patni Top, and the thieves are having dinner at your home. And by the time you are enjoying in Srinagar, they are packing your luggage, belongings, valuables, and putting in the truck and moving away. And maybe after a week time, when you come back to your home, then you realize that entire burglary has happened at your home. Imagine the kind of the situation. Who created that temptation? Who gave this information? We ourselves. We have not controlled ourselves to that extent that what information should remain private, what information should go in a public domain. And this also becomes a kind of bit fraud because of a cyber facilitated ecosystem or cyber facilitated environment. And that's how I keep reminding people with the help of these four lines that जो चाहते हो चिरागों को हम सफर रखना, जो चाहते हो चिरागों को हम सफर रखना, जरा हवा के इरादों पे भी नजर रखना। जो चाहते हो चिरागों को हम सफर रखना, जरा हवा के इरादों पे भी नजर रखना। अब उजड़ गए हो तो ये शिकायतें कैसी, कहा था किसने कि तूफान की जद पे रहना। किसने कहा था कि आप सब कुछ फेसबुक पे पोस्ट कीजिए, इंस्टाग्राम पे पोस्ट कीजिए और थीव्स को अपने घर इनवाइट कीजिए, और फिर जब सब कुछ हो जाए तो फिर आप जाइए पुलिस स्टेशन और कहिए, पुलिस स्टेशन वाले पूछेंगे तो आप कहेंगे मैंने इंस्टाग्राम पे पोस्ट किया था, मैंने फेसबुक पे पोस्ट किया था। आप एटीएम मशीन पे हम और आप जानते हैं जाते हैं, और हमें और आपसे जब एटीएम मशीन नहीं ऑपरेट होती है तो वहां पे किसी अजनबी, किसी स्ट्रेंजर को हम कहते हैं कैन यू हेल्प मी। Why are you taking help in this way? Because you are giving a kind of a possibility or creating a possibility of a cyber crime. But nonetheless, this kind of utilization has increased to that level that now controlling is very difficult. So what we thought that let's have some deliberation on cyber forensics and in fact cyber audit, where if we follow some basic fundamental steps and those steps are in place, probably it will work as an open loop mechanism, not as a closed loop mechanism, and to a great extent we will be in a position to reduce the cyber crimes, so that finally the moving from pillars to post and then talking to everyone that I have been cheated or I have been I've been aggrieved because of the cyber post or maybe the social post, etc. So this all situation must be planned in advance, and some knowledge, some awareness, some understanding of how to control it in an open loop manner can be developed through this webinar. That is the purpose for this webinar has been, and such a valued speaker having huge experience in this particular domain has been invited today. I'm sure the deliberation which will be happening for next 1 hour will be of immense use to everyone, and that possibly will motivate many of us to change our way of cyber life, because we cannot remain isolated from the cyber life, but we have to understand that what we should place in a public domain and what we should not place in the public domain. And that is where the forensics, the cyber warfare and cyber audit will take into consideration. So thank you so much for having joined us, and sure that this webinar will certainly make us to realize where are we doing wrong and how can we correct ourselves. And once again, I request to all of you that those who have not registered for our future webinars, please register for future webinars. 4 webinars are already notified and is open for the registration. Keep attending our program. Keep ourselves safe from all kind of external problems. The COVID-19, which started way back in early 2020, is again creating a fear factor. Today only a news has come from United Kingdom that some new variant has been identified. China is almost locked down. So what I keep on saying that the 4th wave of the COVID is knocking our door. Unless we follow the rules and regulations, despite the fact that the government has relaxed many things, we will not be in a position to safeguard all of us. We have come to a stage where almost everything has become normal. So let's ensure that with our proactive actions, with the protections, and with the COVID appropriate behavior to be exhibited and to be followed by all of us, we make this normal life, which we have just started, more sustainable and to be continued, and can save the humanity from the infections which are otherwise knocking our door. Thank you so much. Wish you happy and healthy stay. Keep learning despite disruptions all around us. That is the mantra of dealing or managing or mitigating all these kind of pandemics. Thank you. Once again, I have just reached my home by the time I have spoken. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ayushi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inspiring us. I would now welcome amongst us our expert speaker, Professor K. Subramaniam, sir, with an e-bouquet. Manish, sir, I would request you to please present an e-bouquet to Professor K. Subramaniam, sir. I welcome you,
Great.
Subramaniam, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Madam, thank you very much.
Professor K. Subramaniam, IEEE Ambassador and Area Coordinator, India, IEEE CS, GAC. Dr. K. Subramaniam, sir, was the first director and professor at Advanced Center for Informatics and Innovative Learning. He was one of the founder creators of National Informatics Center under the Ministry of Communications and Information Technology, Government of India, and served there for 32 years and superannuated as Senior DDG. He served as the Information Technology Advisor to CAG of India, Comptroller and Auditor General of India for more than a decade and half, and currently serving as an honorary advisor. He has more than 3.5 decades of experience in architecture, design, development, implementation, and audit of technology and systems of the federal, state, districts in the Union of India. He is also currently serving as a technical member in the Quality Council of India for accreditation of technical skills required by IT and IT's industry on behalf of NASSCOM. He worked as chair and member of LTD Electronics and Communication and Management Systems Committee of Bureau of Indian Standards. He has contributed in design of systems and network architectures for national passport, visa, security, police and immigration agencies of the government. As an IT advisor to CAG of India for more than 15 years, he has contributed in development of ICT infrastructure, capacity and technical review and e-audit of e-governance programs in India in the public sector, autonomous bodies, educational institutions of both central and state governments. As a capacity building and skill development expert, he was instrumental in the setup of ICISA in International Center for Information Systems Audit Academy under CAG of India, National Institute of Financial Management under Union Finance, IDRBT under Reserve Bank of India, SBIICM under State Bank of India, PNB IIT for the Punjab National. I welcome the great visionary to this session. I now request Sir to please enlighten the House. Please, Sir.
Thank you. Good evening. I think at the
Good
outset, I would like to thank Professor Voda and his institution for arranging these webinars continuously and also giving a chance for us like us to speak on various contemporary topics which are important and nowadays has become very, very essential information for us to manage our own information. So that little bit changed my topic from the topic I gave. It's a cyber forensics and introduction and requirement engineering, changing role of techno managers and auditors. I added the techno managers because without them, you can't do any audit. The audit also involves technology and management. So I think this is what I just changed the title a little bit and added some slides on this. So the idea was that I was in charge of making a curriculum in the cyber security and cyber forensics area. And we designed a curriculum for master's level and it is introduced in Indian University at Chennai and also a certificate program for various modules which have been developed there to police officers and investigators and judges and prosecutors so that they can understand what the kind of evidence which can create which is acceptable to the rule of law in the Union of India. So I think this was a very interesting exercise we have undergone, and now I think it has become a very important topic and also a master's level program in the area, as well as a lot of research is being done in the area of cyber forensics engineering. So let us just cover certain aspect of this intro in our lecture within 1 hour, because it is a lecture by itself. You can conduct as a workshop for 7 days. But anyway, I think let us see what kind of overview we can give you in this 1 hour presentation. So I think when people think about security, nobody bothers about security unless there's a loss of credibility, or otherwise embarrassment happened in the institution as well as in the industry. Loss of competition and also loss of customers. So for all these four things happen, then people are worried about security. So I think the various other damages, accidental damage, data drilling, and scavenging various attacks, hardware software failures, fraud and theft, and unauthorized access, incomplete program changes, Trojan horses, natural disaster, social engineering attack, interception. Then all these things are going to be in a kind of circle which is going to be operating in an open environment like internet environment. This is what Professor Gola said in the beginning. So this is a very important aspect of what to authorize, how to authorize, what is the kind of availability we can ensure, what is the kind of integrity of information we are going to get, what is the kind of confidential information which we can safeguard, and what kind of legal protection we can have, and what kind of laws are to change dynamically from static laws, which has been made in the territorial preservation of Indian laws. So we just see the enterprise management, you see the kind of things what is involved, because information quality, operations management, operational excellence, systems integration, financial control, increased margin for error, fewer people to operate, competition, how to win the competition, rapid business cycles, because new introduction, innovation, and innovation entrepreneurship we are doing through public, private board of directors, government, the regulations of government, the audit committee, shareholders' responsibility, shareholders' question answering things, other regulatory bodies how to compliance of these kind of things. So increased technology implementation, complex transactions, global markets, logistics. I think we just see the kind of things will become very complex. From the kind of a simple thing to complex thing we can make. And at the time, what we started with one single network, now it's a multiple network, the internet network of networks. Now I think we don't know from where all dealing with that, what kind of networks we have been connected through internet of connectivity. And also devices are changing. So we have a lot of scopes, increased scope of responsible decision making is happening when the environment.
Subramaniam sir, sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Your slides are not visible, Subramaniam sir.
Light is not visible.
Yes, sir.
What happened? 1 minute. Let me end the show. Now it's visible.
Please share, sir. Yes.
It's okay now?
No, sir. It is
Let
not.
me see.
Yes, you are sharing the content now.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now it's okay?
Yes, it is working, sir.
Okay. So this is a slide which we have been discussing with that. So what we thought is maybe possibly the complexity of enterprise management is increasing with the technology implementations as well as competitions and global environment what we are seeing today. So let me introduce you 8 cybersecurity predictions of 2022. Because this, I think, recently has been introduced by surveys of Gartner and Forrester. So I just made a compilation of this 8 to just give you in a nutshell. So pandemic chaos and accelerated digital transformation. See, as the global economy looked to exit the pandemic chaos, the uncertainty around navigating the new normal, while enterprises tout their efforts to accelerate digital transformation efforts, for security leaders in business there is in a dark side of the rapid deployment of new technology. I think we have not been have the environment of from home earlier, but suddenly it has to be done like that. So now the technology is changed overnight, maybe possibly introduce new challenges to us. Remote work, virtual meetings, hybrid cloud networks, and SaaS adoption are all brought to complexity of IT infrastructures that are opening up new threat avenues. Meanwhile, chief security officers also must help ensure that organizations are in compliance with new regulations. The problem is new regulations, not only in India, but also global regulations. The recent onslaught of attacks with network vulnerabilities and the new compliance regimes means CSOs have the work cut out from them as they enter 2022. So CSO has collected insights from analyst firms and industry experts to arrive at a lot of top 8 security predictions for the year 2022. Let us see number one, companies to prioritize supply chain resiliency, responsible sourcing. Suddenly Ukraine war started and we have problems. We have a problem of oil, we have a problem of information being tampered. So threat actors are progressively targeting small vendors and suppliers, making supply chain or third-party breaches almost inevitable. Really, I think that a lot of growing reports of third-party incidents, they're going firms. 60% of organizations will use cybersecurity risk as a primary determinant in conducting third-party transactions and business engagements. This is what Gartner prediction report says. Before onboarding new suppliers or renewing contracts, companies will demand agreement on policies stipulating that vendors will assume the risk of third-party attacks, paying the cost of remediation. Number two, privacy legislation will accelerate globally. I think we are not used to the kind of privacy legislation at all. As Professor Voda said, we share our personal information in the open media, maybe possibly Facebook or whatever that is there. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not helpful, sometimes it's dangerous. So as the data residency continues to be one of the most important components of security, the modern private laws could be expected to cover personal information of 78% of the worldwide population, according to the Gartner prediction report. So the kind of things changing like GDPR, maybe possibly LGBT with Business General Data Protection Law, and CCPA, California Consumer Privacy Act, all suggest that compliance officers will be managing multiple data protection legislations in various jurisdictions, and customers will want to know what kind of data is being collected and how it is going to be used. They are worried. Even we are worried about our own personal information collected during COVID time, because even the government assures that safety and security of information which is being collected will be used only for COVID management purposes, not for anything else. But still, people are not happy with the kind of information being collected, and you are tracked everywhere. The flexibility of an organization's IT architecture will become even more important as new privacy regulations are passed and enforced. I think even data protection law is in the parliament table. So I think we are going to have our own data protection law, which is also supposed to be globalized. Regardless of your corporate size, if you are charged with securing your global organization, be thinking about your architecture and where the data is collected, where it lives, and where it is handled. This is what I think CTO of network security company NetWitness says. Number three, hiring of resident compliance officers will pick up because somebody has to be responsible for compliance. Multiple regulations, global regulations, local regulations, even counties regulations in some places. So as organizations face new regulations, there will be a demand for resident compliance officers to help navigate through complex and evolving dictates. Compliance officers will certainly rise on the recruiter's agenda as regulatory bodies mandate that a single throat to choke. That's what he says. Single person responsible for entire organization data protection. Although there is exactly the opposite of what we need. What we do need are skilled technicians and strategies which can be trusted voices and leaders within and across an organization capable of translating the complexity of new, constantly shifting global regulations into real business value for everyone from the CEO to the mailroom. I think we need if the entire organization is involved, and we have to safeguard the entire organization's infrastructure as well as human beings. Number four, bossware will affect employee engagement and insider threats. I think this is, major thing is global workforce forced to work from home. By the pandemic, there is an upsurge the usage of software that allows supervisors to monitor employees at all times. This has upset the remote working ecosystem to some extent, escalating employee distress. So I think this is what Security Report prediction by Forrester 2022 says. Employee backlash will grow as firms overreach, leading to an appreciable drop in technology satisfaction and employee engagement. This is according to the report may also lead to CISOs overcorrecting by reducing the scope of insider threat programs, thereby increasing risk. Number five, that is security products supply management will be consolidated. I think when multiple suppliers we don't have, but we have to consolidate them somewhere. With major business process moving towards complex cloud environments, there will be a push on the part of enterprises to streamline management of security product suppliers. According to Gartner Prediction Report, enterprises will look to adopt cloud-delivered secure web gateways, SWGs, cloud access security brokers, zero trust network access, and firewall as a service capabilities from the same vendor. Because instead of having multiple vendors, they would like to have utilize from the same vendor, they are made responsible. Vendors themselves will consolidate features formerly found in separate applications. This is very important of integration and backend and front-end integration. The growing complexity of cloud, the cloud native and DevOps environments will also lead to consolidation of functionality, with vendors tackling use cases from IT observability for security to cloud security posture management, cloud workload protection, cloud asset attack, surface management, and much more. This is what Scott Crawford says, the implementation security power put on research. Number 6 point is spending on threat reduction and response to growth. I think as a significant malware complaints, including ransomware, spear phishing, side loading attacks, proliferated in 2021. So CISOs have started focusing on getting ahead of cyber attackers in order to protect their businesses. In 2022, we expect the many high-profile and far-reaching attacks in 2021 to drive further spending in threat detection and response. The area most frequently reported by respondents to our 451 research voice of the enterprise. Implementation security surveys, where they either have deployments in pilot or POC plan, deploy next to 6 to 24 months. This is what I think report says. Number 7, cyber insurance premiums will increase. Because once you protect the asset by means of insurance, information assets, then cyber insurance premium will increase where there is a breach. So cyber insurance will become more expensive with the premiums shooting up in the wake of recent high-profile cyber attacks. So cyber insurances are much more expensive as costs surge, are most likely to continue soaring. This is what I think Constellation Miller said. Insurances are like double-edged swords. While they do provide security coverage and have become must-have for organizations, they also altered the attackers to asking for even more ransom in the attacks, knowing it is all covered. So it's like a medical insurance. You go to hospital, they charge you double because the insurance company is going to pay for it. So insurers, acting from the losses assumed from old policies, are increasing prices by 25 to 27% on average. That's what I think she noticed. So cyber insurance premium will increase. Use of customer data tokens and the basic attention tokens to rise. I think this is, very important exercise in a blockchain-enabled technology tokens as compensation to security conscious customers for gathering using the data. 28% of Fortune Global 500 companies will employ blockchain-enabled CDT and BAT, compensate the customers. That's what IDC report says. So the idea of compensating visitors, customers, with tokens for their time, data, and mere attention has long been an attractive concept. Marketers who keep watching the impact and outcomes of their media. One such model recently announced by Brave would be testing ground even to see even the most privacy aware sensitive users like Brave users are willing to watch ads and engage with ad sponsor content in exchange for a bat. So I think the kind of what the advertisement says and try to use it, maybe breachers are going to use this kind of advertisement, false advertisement, to invade into an IT infrastructure environment. So I think we just saw the security threats of 2022. Now we'll just come to the kind of introduction to cyber forensics or information forensics. What are the new challenges we have? So one is evidence. So evidence has complexity, the collection complexity, the collection complexity, the organization complexity, the analytical complexity, the presentation complexity, the preservation complexity, and acceptable to judiciary. That's a more important thing. Because whatever evidence we have to be acceptable to judiciary. We have to present the original form. Environment, encrypted, non-encrypted, both environments are going to be there. The identity management, access mechanism, local, remote, single network, multiple network. Access control, maybe possibly password control, token control, biometric control, all the things we have. So the kind of things forensics is going to give new challenges for us, the new environments which we are creating are complicating. So we are worried. Whose responsibility is that? Cyber forensics. Okay, is it part of police or investigators? Is it part of prosecutors? Is it part of auditors? Is it part of technologies? I think this is, debate goes on, and maybe possibly everyone is responsible for this. So what is required? We need a highly trained manpower. The appropriate tools we should have. Strong cyber laws we should have. Cyber laws should be dynamic and static. Certified fraud examiners are growing because we need to have certification for even fraud examination. So there are certified CFE examinations are being conducted all over the globe, and there are many people qualified for CFE, like CSAs and CSOs. Methods, email tracking, hard disk forensics, decrypting data, finding hidden embedded links, tracing compromised servers. I think I will just give a kind of anecdotes or maybe real incidents little bit later, so that how complex it is you can understand. So what all this would lead to? Loss of confidential secret information. Government is worried, enterprises are worried, maybe even personally people are worried because our own personal information being lost, being shared. Loss of intellectual properties. Loss of customer confidence because once you lose information and customer come to know that customer confidence reduces. Loss of revenue. Implications of social setup. Cyber terrorism. These all kind of things. What could all this lead to? These all kind of these things. So we are worried in a complex world setup how we are going to survive and how we are going to get up when things happen. So auditors fail to discover fraud because they are not looking for it. Victims seldom square. It is not a good form to be whistleblower, the bad guy, one who reveals all. There are bad guys, but whistleblowers are now really lot like. So human nature is what? Hide failures, not admit them. We don't want to admit our own failures. Conceal problems, not discuss them. Defend wrong decisions, not admit them. Cover up mistakes, not own up. Because this is, I think, kind of human nature. And how to overcome this kind of human nature, when you are going to have the kind of complexity of environment, we are going to work with that. So what is forensic audit? Let me just introduce the concept. Forensics means belonging to you, belong to used in suitable court of justice or to public discussion in a debate, the information. Audit, the process which identifies the extent of conformance or otherwise of actual events, internal events and predetermined norms for different activity segments in accordance with established criteria. So this is what I think audit is going to give compliance of. So forensic auditing, what is the forensic auditing process? One is fraud detection. The next one is fraud investigation. The third one is fraud prevention. I think a lot of case studies we can discuss because there will be a separate lecture we will do for case studies on this, each one of these kind of things. But today I think is only a kind of introduction to this kind of areas and also what requirement engineering is. The skills required for forensic accountants, accounting and finance expertise. I think they need to have good accounting and finance expertise. Fraud knowledge they should have. Knowledge of legal system they should have. Ability to work with people, they should have the kind of attitude. I think attitude is very important and ability to work with people is very more important. So change in the focus of forensic audit. What is the kind of change in focus happening? Because of environmental change, because of IT infrastructure change, because access to networks change, because global environment is changing environment. Technological advances. I think every day, every second technology is changing. So what is the kind of technology, new to old? We are going to have a composite of that. Emerging expectations and the widening gap. Because expectations are emerging and gap is widening, what you can go to results. Changes in the profile of the fraudster and frauds and fraudster technologies themselves. I think this is a very important aspect of profile of fraudster. Earlier, I think there was only intelligence we need, but now I think we need technology also for fraudsters. So financial auditing was product auditing. I think let us compare these two. Because financial auditing we have been very familiar with. We are doing it for ever since the kind of accounts are introduced and financial auditing has happened. So it's a program procedural approach, financial auditing, control risk approach, focus on IC strengths, focus on errors and omissions, because I think they're so auditor certified based on the kind of ability to understand, collect the data, organize the data, inference is received, and based on the observation, things are okay. That's what the certification is. Fraud auditing is not program oriented. It's going to be different for every different environment. Think like a crook approach. Focus on I see weaknesses, not on I see strengths. Focus on exceptions, oddities, and patterns of conduct. Very, very important aspect of it, because this is what I think exactly. Sorry, I want to do a pointer. Okay. So I think the fraud auditing is not program oriented. Fraud auditing is thinking like a crook approach. That means weaknesses of IC, information communication infrastructure. Focus on exceptions, oddities, and patterns of conduct. So I think next one is financial auditing is based on emphasis of materiality, logical accounting and auditing background. Internal and external auditors are credited with finding about 4% to 20% uncovered fraud. I think audit itself is to uncover fraud, but there is 20% fraud is always assumed, and majority of kind of public procurement, maybe public utilities functions. But fraud auditing where there is a smoke, there is a fire. So we have to find out where the smoke is happening. Illogical, behavioral motive, opportunity and integrity. Fraud examiner rate much higher because fraud auditors are only called when fraud is known to be highly suspected, because they are not called in the beginning or they are not part of the environment. What type of frauds? Let us see what the kind of frauds. I think we have standing examples of many of these kind of things. The management frauds, like Satyam's happened, or Kingfishers happened, direct illegal acts, employee frauds, white collar crimes, corruption and bribing, cyber and net frauds, cyber terrorism, and infotech warfare. So forensic audit should ensure that it is a means to an end, a guide to decision making, enables improvement of society, empowers decision makers with state-of-art of verifiable inputs, enables enactment of effective laws, promotes effective delivery of justice in accordance with the canons and tenets. I think tools and technology, let us come to this. So certified tool and proprietary tool. Okay, there are two types of tools available. Natural methods of evidence collection, built-in tools like MS Office or something is already built-in tools are available. Centralized versus decentralized or distributed and connected, multi-connected. Investigative data mining and problem and fraud detection. Definitions, technical and practical problems. Existing fraud detection methods, widely used methods. I think normally conventional methods are used. The crime detection method, let us come to these more details a little later. Comparisons with minority report, classifiers as precogs. I think let us see what is the precog. Precog is nothing but knowledge of something in advance of the occurrence, especially by extrasensory perception. I think people expect this will happen and they visualize. I think this is the kind of knowledge of something in advance. So visualization technique has visual symbols. So database, machine learning environments, neural networks, data visualization, statistics, distributed data mining, communication network technologies, wired, wireless, mobile, web, and internet. I think you see the complexity of technologies here, complexity of tools here. So implementing crime detection system, what kind of things? Preparation components. So investigation objectives. What are the investigation objectives? Which we are going to define clearly. Collected data, what is the kind of data collection? Preparation of collected data to achieve and achieve the objectives. Action components are which experiments generate best predictions. I think many of the kind of Bayesian estimates are made, which is the best possible prediction, which is the best insight. How can the new models and insights be deployed within the organization? So fraud detection problems, let us say the technical problems here, imperfect data. I think no data is perfect. Usually not collected from data for data mining, but the data is from unstructured and structured environments. Inaccurate, incomplete, maybe irrelevant data attributes. So we have to filter it. The highly skewed data, many more legitimate than fraudulent examples. Higher chances of overfitting. Black box predictions, numerical outputs incomprehensible to people. People cannot even compensate the kind of black box predictions what they are. Lack of domain knowledge. I think which is very important aspect is domain knowledge is very essential. Important attributes, likely relationships and known patterns. Three types of fraud offenders and their modus operandi. Accessing data mining potential. Predictive accuracy are useless for skewed data sets. So we have to see what kind of data sets we have. Maybe possibly we have to have a mining potential of that kind of thing. Great variety of fraud scenarios over time. Soft fraud, cost of investigation, cost of fraud. We have to balance it, and whichever is better, the go for investigation. Hard fraud circumvents anti-fraud measures. That means we have introduced anti-fraud methods, and the circumventing that kind of things happen to hard fraud. So widely used methods and fraud detection. The insurance fraud, let us take the example, cluster detection, decision tree induction, domain knowledge, statistical summaries, and visualizations. I think this is the kind of thing cluster detection is one of the parameters will be used. Special cases, neural network classification, and is involved cluster detection. In the credit card frauds, decision tree name Bayesian classification, stacking. Telecommunications fraud, cluster detection, codes and rules. What kind of things we have to have in a kind of a source and rules. The crime detection method comparison with minority report. Precox. What is precox? As we decided earlier, is knowledge of things before it happens. Foresee and prevent crime. Each precox contains multiple classifiers. So, what are the mechanisms we have? Combine predictions. Analytical machinery, record, study, compare, and represent predictions, simple terms. Single computer like that. Visual symbols explain the final predictions. Graphical visualizations, numerical scores, and descriptive rules. I think multiple things are used as a visual symbols. So classifier as figure. Figure 1. Naive Bayesian classifier. I think this everybody knows statistical problem, statistical paradigm. Simple and fast. Redundant, non-normally distributed symbols. So figure 2 is classifiers, computer metaphor. What is metaphor? Metaphor is nothing but a figure of speech that is used to make comparison between two things that are not like, but they have something in common. I think they are not like, but they have something in common. So classifiers are used there. Computer metaphors. Explain patterns and quite fast. Scalability and efficiency. The figure 3 is back propagation classifiers. There is brain metaphor. I think brain is going to do fast analysis, come back with a kind of new idea. This can happen, this cannot happen, this may be possibly matching. I think the kind of perception and sensors, what we use, the same kind of metaphor we have to use here. Long training times and extensive parameter tuning. Very, very expensive because experience is needed here. So combining output as integration mechanisms. So cross-validation. Divide training data into 11 data partitions. Each data partition used for training, testing, and evaluation once. Slightly better success rate. Because actual real-time data is used for training and testing and evaluation once. Tagging. Unweighted majority voting on each example or instance. Combine predictions from same algorithm or different algorithms. Increases success rate. Because bagging increases success rate. Combining output as integration mechanism. Stacking. Meta classifier. Base classifier present predictions to meta classifier. Determines the most reliable classifiers. So I think classifier combining output as integration mechanism is one of the procedures used. So cluster detection as analytical machinery. Visualization technique as visual symbols. So analytical machinery is where self-organizing maps. I think SOM. The clusters high-dimensional elements into more simple low-dimensional maps. Automatically groups similar instances together so the exceptions are reported. Do not specify an easy to understand model. Visual symbols, classification, clustering, visualizations. I think confusion matrix, naive Bayesian visualization, clustering visualization, column graph. I think these are only give the exceptions here. So the kind of direction system preparation component, what are the kind of components we should have for direction system? Problem understanding, determine investigation objectives, choose and explain. Recently, I think few years back, we investigated the data. I think 2 flyers came and they have a regular booking. They came to Coimbatore. They entered the hospital, took valuable information data from the hospital. So they have been tracked They came by the flight. Their boarding cards are checked. So they are not the persons who entered from Bombay, they came. So Bombay boarding process are different than who landed in Coimbatore. Because inside that security area, they exchanged the boarding cards. One went to Calcutta, one came from Calcutta to Bombay. So two Coimbatore came back to Bombay. I think this is what exactly happened. So they asked us, is it possible to identify the person with the boarding card, his name as a ticket holder? Because nobody checks at the gate of the aircraft. So a very interesting thing came up, because if you start thinking at the gate of the aircraft, boarding card versus person who was registered or whose facial expressions are known, it's going to delay the aircraft, right? Much more complexity in the checking system. Already they have been boarding cards checked, they are security checked, they have been virtually checked, and now and by checked. After this, boarding persons are changed. This is what happened in Coimbatore. So I think it's become the costly problem of introducing the kind of checking mechanism with the boarding card with the kind of photo on that. I think very, very difficult to implement, but this is what I think people suggested. It is not workable. So we have to understand what kind of problems we are determining, what is the determined investigation objective, and we have to choose it and explain. What is the assessed situation? So what are the available tools with that, available data set with that? What kind of cost model we are going to operate? Determine data mining objectives. Because data mining algorithms are there, data mining solutions are there, but minimum false alarms. We should be in a position to predict this. What is project plan? The time and tools, what you have to use. So the kind of thing is data understanding, very, very important aspect. Describe data, explore data, claim trends by month, age of vehicles, maybe age of policyholders in insurance side, verify data, good data quality, duplicate attribute, highly skewed attributes. I think we should differentiate there. Maybe possibly exception reports are to be generated. So what is the preparation column? Data preparation. Select data, all except one attribute are retained for analysis. I think we have to select the kind of attributes which we would like to analyze further. Clean data, what kind of cleaning and methodology we can use? Missing values are replaced. Spelling mistakes are corrected. Format data, all characters converted to lowercase, underscore symbol. And construct data, derived attributes, numerical inputs. For the partition data, data multiplication or oversampling. For example, 50-50 distribution. I think we have to decide a lot of sample size what we are going to have. What kind of distribution mechanism we are going to have. I think a lot of things, decision has to be done. Assumptions have to be made before doing the preparation component. So let us see the kind of things what the implementing the crime detection system action component are. So deployment, plan deployment, manage geographically distributed databases using distributed data mining, take time to account for. Plan monitoring and maintenance, determined by rate of change in external environment and organizational requirements. Rebuild models when cost savings are below a certain percentage of maximum cost savings possible. I think we have to maximize the cost, maximize the return, and minimize the cost. So contributions are new crime detection methods, crime detection system, the cost models, the visualization aspects, the statistical background, the statistical tools and technologies, core-based features, extensive literature reviews, before that, in-depth analysis of algorithms, what algorithms we are going to use. So I think very, very important aspect of contributions we are going to make. A lot of research is being happening in this area. So technical problem, what are the technical problems we have? It's a real-time problem, technical problem. Imperfect data, statistical evaluation and confidence intervals, preparation component of crime detection system derived attributes, cross-validation. I think all the things are very important because sometimes validation cannot happen or it doesn't do. Highly skewed data, partition data with most appropriate distribution and good cost model. Black box predictions use, classification, clustering, visualization, sorted scores and predefined threshold and rules. I think this is the kind of approaches, what different approaches are there for technical problem, which you have to use the correct data technology for right type of usage. So lack of domain knowledge. Maybe we should have domain experts also with us. Action component of crime detection system, extensive literature review, great variety of fraud scenarios over time. Solving financial frauds with machine learning. I think this is all happening in the banking frauds and financial frauds. Crime detection methods, types of algorithm, what kind of algorithm we can use, and which is different from normal algorithms. Accessing data mining potential. quality and quantity of data, cost models, Z scores. I think we just see the kind of all these kind of assessment parameters I do before we introduce the kind of things in a practical environment domain. So what are the kind of tools we have? Let me just mention it. Each tool is going to be different, complexity is different, and we have to use what kind of tools we have, international as well as domestically available tools. Some of them are built in, some of them are not built in. So we have to see what kind of things are built in. Disk forensics tool, networks tool suite, net forensic tool, mobile check forensic solution on mobile phones and smartphones. I think now phone is becoming the kind of computer what we have. We are going to operate so many operations through phone, mobile phones itself. Disk forensic tool. I think let me give an example here. Recently, I think few years back in Delhi, there was a murder of a Czechoslovakian diplomat in his residence. So there's a close CCTV cameras have been kept in the house, but cameras recording have been arrested. So the police came to us and asked for how to retrieve the information from the arrest data, arrest volume in the media. I think image reconstruction techniques are used, various filters are used to discover the kind of pattern and kind of person whom profile has been measured. So finally he was arrested. So I think a lot of complexity of technology is used in kind of arrest data being deconstructed. So a lot of image processing techniques have been used here. So we should have domain knowledge of image processing also for this. So really, Pro Discover Forensics. These are international tools are available. So Salute Toolkit, Kane, PDF to Excel converter is already built in now, and Google Takeout converter, Paladin. In case is normally used by investigation agencies like FBI and CBI. The SIFT workstation, SIP workstation, which is being now implemented in many other investigation agencies. So you just see the Pro Discover Forensic, Windows, Mac, and Linux. Both are all the platforms are available. And if you want to see literature, you can just tap it here. You'll get that literature survey for this. Rootkit out of 5, Windows. It's available as a Windows 2. 10, Windows, Mac, and Linux both are available. PDF to Excel converter, I think Windows, Mac, and mobile available. Google Takeout converter, Windows environment is available. So I think this is the kind of cyber forensic tools which are available already built in terms of and what we have tools bought. So indigenous forensic tool, I think CDAC set up a center for excellence in cyber forensics. They are helping all the police investigators all over the country, also investigating agencies. They have developed a lot of forensic tools in Trivandrum, Hyderabad, as well as in Bangalore. And these tools are being used extensively by Indian agencies. Maybe possibly, I think what we need is we are sophisticating the tool to that extent that it compares with any international tool what we have to buy a subscription basis. So cyber check suite, this forensic tool, very important tool about this forensics. Network suite, network forensic tool. I think tracking and tracing is happening there. Mobile check forensic solution for mobile phones and smartphones. Advanced area analyzer, I think the call data records analyzer for the telephone frauds. SIM tracker, the SIM card imaging and analysis tool. Next generation service desk, SRL. Photo examiner forensic multimedia analysis tool. WinLeaf Windows-based Leaf forensic tool. True Traveler, True Imager, and Drapan Series 3 as a network management system. Digital evidence management system DMS. Cyber Check Lite, digital forensic kiosk hardware. All of them are indigenously developed by CDAC with a lot of experts working on these areas, a lot of technologies and as well as domain experts are working. And this is being implemented in some police forces as well as in terms of investigating agencies as well as cyber forensic experts. So I think I would like to acknowledge here that all these slides have been prepared from major publications, newsletters of large MNCs such as MS, IBM, Amazon, Google, Harvard, Stanford, MIT reports, personal interaction with leading investigating agencies such as RA, IB, CBA, FBI, etc., in various meetings and conferences and other personal contacts, global research reports from Forrester, IDC, Gartner, leading research institutions such as IITs, IIM, and other universities, see like George Mason, some other research being done, maybe University of Maryland, some Australia, a lot of things have been on network side. So CAO newsletters, NASCOM reports are being utilized here as a kind of prediction mechanism for the people to be safeguarding in the new environment which is growing. So I think let's stop here. Maybe possibly I think I have finished it exactly for 50 minutes. So I think each one topic can be discussed as a kind of workshop. I think I like to what are to prepare for the workshop. Maybe possible sometime later we'll design it, and we are the experts to talk in this kind of workshop, and we'll arrange a cyber forensic workshop shortly in this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the enlightening deliberation. I am sure that this session would have enlightened the participants about the real life applications. Now, there are some questions by the participants which I would like to take up with your permission. May I,
Yeah,
sir?
please go ahead.
Okay. First question I received is what are the current and future challenges to smartphone forensics?
Yeah, I think see, the smartphone is becoming a computer by itself. So all the things what we have been using in for forensic tools for computers is going to be available for smartphone. So that's why mobile forensics is going to be a major area of research as well as major area of implementation. I think we have to, because mobile is a device which we are going to use for interaction and transactions purposes, and even storing of information, because nowadays even up to a lot of GBs you can store in mobile data itself. So I think mobile forensics is going to assume great significance in the years to come. Already started, but we are having phones of such a kind where new technology is used, and technology is changing quite fast with storage, more sophisticated cameras, more sophisticated kind of retrieval tools in that can be utilized. So forensic tools are coming up for mobile forensics area.
Okay. Thank you, sir. The next question I received is, can blockchain technology be used in digital forensics?
Yeah.
Example for maintaining chain of custody or preservation of the evidences.
You see, preservation of evidences, I think we should know what kind of the laws, the laws which are provided in the territorial jurisdiction of the country. But really, I think blockchain is used in various applications like financial services, or maybe possibly telecom services, or maybe possibly in any application which is going to be the kind of scenario tomorrow. So blockchain is going to be important technology to be used. So we have to work on the kind of policies for blockchain. I think this is a new interesting area where people are working. Already research reports I have seen. Some of them have come out.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. My last question to you, the participants want to know whether there is a forensic tool that supports both smart device and computer operating system.
No, I think multiple operating systems are supported because the platform is agnostic, but the tools are going to be different for different kind of environments. The same tool cannot be used, but same organization is selling the tools for multiple environments, for multiple types. But nowadays they are using the tool in the network environment. Actually, those people who provide security services are going to provide these tools also for the people, because nobody is going to buy the tools. It's going to be a subscription service. Security as a service is going to be the kind of thing which is going to happen. So nobody can afford the kind of service tools for storing in the organization unless they want to be a global organization where they procure and deploy in data centers so that they are global data centers.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I would now like to request Professor M.N. Huda, sir, to please kindly present a certificate to Professor K. Subramaniam, sir, as a token of our remembrance. Please, sir.
Thank you so much, Professor Subramaniam. The topic was very complex and it will remain an ever evolving topic. You rightly said that each one of the topic would be a topic for at least half-day workshop. But still, I believe that whatever basic introduction and details you have given, that is sufficient enough to make up the mind and ensure that a new way of using cyber-based devices or IT gadgets or electronic and digital devices should be followed by the participants. And I'm sure when participants will keep on discussing this with their fellow colleagues, with their students, in their classrooms, in their network, probably some better prevail, some better sense will certainly prevail. I still believe that this is such a topic for which, of course, education awareness is important, but after that, the change in the mindset, change in the user's pattern, change in the way of life is more important. As a technologist, as a student of computer science, I never say that do not use these digital devices. I myself remain connected with almost all possible devices. But let's use it in a judicious way, having entire awareness that how these devices can be used in a positive way and how others are waiting, right? Intruders are waiting to take advantage of the users of those devices. So how to prevent them from taking advantage of misuses of the devices? That should be the way of life. And that probably you have given sufficient input in that direction. Now it is up to all of us to understand to which extent we want to remain protected from all kind of intrusions. Thank you so much. This certificate is not for the purpose of certification. It is only for the purpose of remembrance. And we'll meet once again.
Thank you.
We missed you yesterday at Bharati Vidyapeeth for IEEE meeting, and we look forward that in next meeting we'll certainly meet.
Okay, sir, definitely, sure. Thank you very
Thank
much
you,
for
sir.
your thanks.
Thank you so much. I
Subramanian sir,
would now
there is a
like to
memento,
recognize
electronic.
Subramanian sir as a gratitude from BVI Camp
Uh,
family.
Nice memento. Thank you.
Electronic memento, sir.
Digital
In a
memento.
cyber world.
Yeah, I think we should store it. Thank you very much.
All right.
Send me a copy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I thank all the distinguished panelists and participants who have been continuously supporting us through joining the webinar. A big thank you to all who have taken out time and joined us on this auspicious day. Thank you.
Professor Bhatia, how are you? You are on mute, Professor Bhatia. उत्तम ये शेयरिंग की स्क्रीन बंद कर देनी है शायद शेयरिंग बंद है ना
Yes, sir, sharing is off.
Oh yes, that's great. Professor Bhatia, you are on mute. Sound is coming from your background, Professor Bhatia.
Yes.
Participants, this meeting room is converted now into a facilitation center, wherein our team members, Ayushi, Dr. Ritika, Uttam, and all other members working at the back end will be waiting. If there is any support for the purpose of getting certificate is required, they will be more than happy to support you. Please understand, as the feedback link has already been provided to you, that you have to fill up this feedback link. Based on this feedback link, the data will be fetched by the Google API, and based on that data, your auto generation system will generate certificate for you. That certificate's PDF will be written and an email attachment, and as an email attachment, that certificate will be sent to you on your in your email inbox. If you are not getting in inbox, if you are not getting in
is
inbox,
not mute. I don't know why you are not getting.
now your voice is coming, Professor Bhatia, but
I see maybe some problem.
yeah, let me just finish.
Yeah,
If you are
that's
not
okay.
getting certificate in inbox, please also check a spam folder. And for future, please mark our mail as safe or add in the safe list so that next time onwards you can get it in inbox. The only problem can be while writing your email address in the feedback form, if you commit an error, then certificate is still generated, but on a wrong email address it is being sent.
Then you go to that,
right?
right?
So then you do not receive it. So in that case, our team members will try to identify it and will send you a Google Drive link where from you can download it. But in no way or in no means, if you expect that we will be generating your certificate and sending you the manual email, I'm extremely sorry. My apologies to you. We'll not be in a position to do that. We are only here to facilitate you, to enlighten you that this is the process, right? So please follow that process. If you are following that process, automatically within 2 minutes, certificate must be delivered to you. But leave this room only when you get certificate. If you are not getting certificate and leaving this room, contacting any one of us on email, WhatsApp, message, phone call, I'm sorry, because this room will be closed by 8 p.m. positively. And then after, my certificate generation system will also get deactivated. So even if I want to help you, I can't help you because I can't configure the system again for 1 or 2 users. So please be attentive. Take link. We will be here to giving you link if you have not. So go through your chat window, type BBIKM name or my name, MN Huda. You will get the link there. And please avail this facility. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay vibrant. Keep learning despite all around disruptions to all of us. Many of the participants are writing good feedback. Thank you so much to everyone. You leave this room only when you get certificate, and with this commitment that next time you are again joining back.
होना जी आपका जो नया शहर जो
नया शेयर
स्टार्टिंग में
नया
दिया था
शेयर
बहुत बढ़िया
असल
है
में क्या है सर, शेयर नए शेयर के
हवा
लिए
के
बहुत
झोंकों
वक्त
से
चाहिए होता है।
भी ऊपर भी नजर रखना पड़ेगा
हैं।
It was very appropriate for
आज
the
नया
site.
शेयर सुनाया था मैंने कि जो चाहते हो
नहीं नहीं पहले भी है पहले भी सुना मैं टुडे इट वाज appropriate for this very
बिल्कुल नया लिखने की कोशिश करता हूँ, वो बीच में रुक जाता है इस वजह से कि बहुत ज्यादा ओवर ऑक्युपाइड रहता हूँ और फिर
कुछ
शेयर
नहीं
के
है
लिए
वो
बिल्कुल फ्री माइंड
नेक्स्ट
चाहिए
से
होता है।
17 हो तो ज्वाइन कर लेंगे ना
जी जी
बीच बीच में से टूटा फूटा मिलाया जा सकता
जी जी जी।
है
Thank
भावना
you
हो
so much
तो
to all the
बाहुबली
friends for all your encouraging words. Keep attending this program. The
यस
entire process which we have initiated, this webinar series under IEEE and BVI as a weekly evening webinar is just for knowledge dissemination, just for knowledge dissemination.
काठमांडू आ
Your
रहे हैं ना
participations keep on encouraging us.
Dear participants, I request you all to please find the link of the feedback form on the chat window. Please fill in the feedback form to receive automated certificate of participation for today's session. Further, dear participants, it is to inform you that the recorded videos of our activities are being made available at the earliest possible on our BBI CAM YouTube channel. You can find the details of our BBI CAM YouTube channel at the chat window. Subscribe it for the regular updates.
आयुषी जी आपका गला क्या हो गया आज थोड़ा
The
भी कोई
process
साइबर
अब
अटैक
तो
तो नहीं हुआ है
improve हो गया है, अब improve हो गया है सर।
अच्छा अच्छा
जी।
सोचा शायद उसके ऊपर भी साइबर इक्विवेलेंट कोई अटैक हो रहा है वेदर
नहीं,
का
कोई साइबर अटैक इनके गले
वेदर
पे
का
नहीं है, फिजिकल अटैक है। मैं हमेशा कहता हूं कि साइबर फ्रॉड वर्चुअल वर्ल्ड में होता है और उसकी लड़ाइयां या उसको हल करने के लिए हम सारे स्टेप्स प्रैक्टिकल रियल वर्ल्ड में करना पड़ता है। वर्चुअल वर्ल्ड में हुए क्राइम्स को हल करना रियल वर्ल्ड में बहुत डिफिकल्ट होता है।
कैसा भी
इनके गले की प्रॉब्लम तो चल रही 2 हफ्ते से और ये सोच रही कि मेरा गला कुछ कमजोर रहेगा तो सर कभी कभी फ्री कर देंगे। फ्री नहीं
नहीं
होगा
नहीं सर,
थैंक यू
नहीं सर।
भाटिया साहब कुछ पूछते हैं तो उनको कुछ जवाब देना पड़ता है ना मुझे इसलिए।
नहीं रितिका जी सेकंड लेवल ऑफ लीडरशिप तैयार कर रही है वो मुझे
ओ यस ओ यस
दैट इज द
टीम
रियल
मेंबर्स सब एक
सीक्रेट
दूसरे को तैयार करते रहते हैं
या
ताकि टीम हमेशा सस्टेनेबल रहे और
नहीं वैसे होना ही
सेकंड
चाहिए
थर्ड लाइन डिफेंस तैयार
शो शुड गो ऑन ना शो शुड गो ऑन
जी
somebody is busy in this one and it should is there रितिका जी है यार
प्रोफेसर भाटिया का बहुत लॉन्ग एक्सपीरियंस है स्पेस इंडस्ट्री में और बहुत सारे इंडस्ट्रीज में आईटी में बहुत इमेंसली कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं और इज वन ऑफ द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट पिलर ऑफ आईटी along with his 2-3 colleagues at IIT Bangalore. And right from March 2020 जब लॉकडाउन हो गया जब से हम इंटरेक्ट कर रहे हैं और जब से भाटिया साहब हमारा प्रोग्राम अटेंड करते हैं इट्स अ मैटर ऑफ ग्रेट encouragement to me, Bhatia Sahab.
नहीं, thank you, Auditors.
Honor to us.
It's an opportunity you are giving me actually.
जी.
It's an honor to
Yeah.
us, actually.
Yes, sir.
Dear participants, please note that the link of the
Okay.
feedback form has already been shared with you. You may find the link, open up the feedback form and fill in the same for the smooth automated generation of your certificate of participation. Once you fill up the feedback form, then your certificate of participation shall automatically be generated in PDF and emailed to you as an attachment on your mail ID. Also note, dear participants, that the certificate shall be generated based upon the data filled in the feedback form. So you are requested to write your name and organization correctly as you want it in your certificate. Also, you are requested to give any Gmail ID as the auto system works seamlessly for Gmail.
Okay. Subramanian ji, it was very nice. Thank you very much for giving the basic inputs, which is really we have. Each and every word of yours was really wonderful for us.
We are present all the time, sir. So because normally I don't miss any program. Every Saturday we are
No.
present.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
ये
today I
सुब्रमण्यम
tried to
सुब्रमण्यम
request,
साहब की भी greatness है कि right from the first webinar, almost all the webinars and that too from beginning to end, he attends it.
Yeah.
That,
Yes.
that, that is his greatness.
Yes.
No, it's a very knowledge exchange experience, and then I more or like I think I like to hear verses also.
Yes, sir.
Chennai Express from Chennai to Delhi में है ना, सीधा वही में पहुंच जाती है.
No, I am living near you. Nowadays I am in Coimbatore. But
As you are in Coimbatore.
yeah, because
But you have started this MTech, no? At Chennai.
started MTech in Hindustan
Yes.
University.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it failed in some other universities. We have tried a lot at that time. But now I think I am not in touch with them because a program for modular training is going on for police and prosecution officers.
Yes.
So it's a certificate program, it's a costed program. Somebody company is making money out of it. That's it.
Yeah. We have commercialized it.
Dear participants, I again request you to please find the link of the feedback form on the chat window. Please fill in the same for the smooth automated generation of your certificate of participation for today's webinar. Further, dear participants, you are requested to please subscribe us on our VVICAM YouTube channel at the earliest for the regular updates. You may find the details of our YouTube channel at the chat windows. All the recorded videos of our activities are being made available at the earliest possible on our VVICAM YouTube channel. Please subscribe the same for the regular updates.
But of course, your house also has the same setup as office, is it?
जी सर.
So
ये
it's not
घर
different
पे मैंने 2019 में ही डेवलप किया था. मुझे कुछ लग रहा था कि 2020 या 21 या
So you
21 से
are pretty
वर्क
good.
फ्रॉम होम का कांसेप्ट आने वाला है.
So
तो सब लोग मुझे कह रहे थे आप बेकार का इस रूम को वर्क फ्रॉम होम के लिए कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं. मैं कहा नहीं नहीं, ये बहुत जरूरत है. और मार्च 20 ऑनवर्ड जब लॉकडाउन हो गया तो लोगों ने कहा ओ यस ग्रेट यूजर्स ऑफ दिस रूम.
and I think your car also has got
आजकल
something, I
मैं
think so.
जी जी आजकल मैं कॉलेज में थोड़ा काम होता है, ज्यादातर टाइम कॉलेज में रहता हूँ, लेकिन आज मैंने सोचा कि थोड़ा जल्दी घर पहुंचूं. But still, I reached around 6:15.
After giving the introduction.
After I finished my welcome.
Welcome.
Traffic इतनी uncertain है सर कि जब आप ऑफिस से निकलते हैं, you can't estimate.
Hard working person, sir. What to do?
थैंक यू सो मच सर. काम तो असल में क्या है, जिम्मेदारियां, मेरी बहुत छोटी सी टीम है मेरे पास में, और सब लोग मेरी टीम के मेंबर जितने टीचर्स होते हैं सब 2-4 घंटे घर पे तो काम करना पड़ता है उनको, नहीं तो ऑफिस में रुक के करना पड़ता है. एंड वी फॉलो ओनली वन रूल, नो बैकलॉग, नो पेंडेंसी. कल का काम भी आज जो समझ में आ रहा है वो आज फिनिश करके जाओ या घर पे फिनिश करो. आप देखें राइट फ्रॉम मार्च 2020, चाहे वो सैटरडे हो, संडे हो, फ्राइडे हो, टीम मेंबर्स वेबिनार करते थे, सब अपने अपने घर ऑफिस, जिनको जहां से सहूलत होती थी वो वहां बैठे होते थे, और अभी भी चल रहा सब.
Thank you. Nice of you, sir. I think I am also I want to set up something like this room.
Right.
Because here is only 2 rooms here. So there
Yes, sir.
I have a separate room in Delhi.
But yeah, hybrid mode. So this hybrid mode will continue, sir. This will
Yeah.
not be finished here.
And
This
that
hybrid
was a
mode
good
will
point,
continue.
Dr. What you brought last time, that we should not leave this now. We should take advantage of both the things.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It will lot of wherever basically it is in knowledge sharing, definitely we should remain in hybrid mode only. There are practicals
Correct.
involved in other things. Yes, this one is required, but this
Right.
should continue. Because
Yes.
it saves a lot of time, travel time, this, that, and all those things also.
Correct.
The IET building in Delhi has become non-approachable to me because I go by wheelchair sometimes. So it's a lift to you have to climb the stairs.
You are right.
So
You
I
are
think
right.
you should make some kind of ramp.
We'll do that.
We
We'll do
open
that.
access there earlier.
I have noted your suggestion. Next time I will visit the Delton
Yes.
Hall. I will see to it that this is ready as per your suggestion.
Okay, sir.
It is
Thank you.
one of the important requirement. But
Thank
I
you,
have
sir.
made my campus fully ready.
Yeah, I know that because yesterday I think I just was able to see some side infrastructures too.
Yes, sir.
But this was set up because of the conference. You were set up in the studio room was because of the conference you made that kind of thing for panel. I
No,
think
a
everything
studio,
is
a studio room. We have started journalism and mass communication program 3 years
okay.
already,
So you have got a media
and
room there.
we are developing one of the best possible media center
Okay.
with all possible facilities in Delhi. And once it will be ready, then I will inform you. So when you are coming, we'll see to it that you deliver a lecture sitting right in our studio.
Yes, I set up, I was involved in setting up EMPCs there.
Yeah, yeah. IGNOU is one of the best centers.
Electronic Media Center there.
Ayushi has joined our journalism department after close to 10 years of experience.
Oh.
So आप इमेजिन करें आईटी इंजीनियरिंग का वेबिनार जर्नलिज्म की टीचर कोऑर्डिनेट कर रही हैं.
You should also start a law school.
So Professor K. Agarwal, when he came for the inaugural session, and then after knowing our strength, all of these teachers have attended that. So he said that the strength to you is IT. So ensure that to the country you provide the journalist with strongest possible IT background.
Yes, I
So
saw that.
ये सब teachers पहले अपने को mold कर रहे हैं उसके लिए.
Yeah, I heard this.
इंजीनियरिंग का वेबिनार जर्नलिज्म की टीचर कर रही हो, ये तो बड़ी बात है ना सर. जो एनईपी कहती है इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी, क्रॉस डिसिप्लिनरी, ट्रांस डिसिप्लिनरी एंड फाइनली मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी. तो ये सब टीचर मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी डोमेन के लिए बिल्कुल रेडी है आप.
There's a Digital Journalism of India Society.
जी.
Started in Chennai 3 years back.
जी.
Prime Point Production is running it.
Right.
So my friend is the chairman.
Right. And any journalism organization, any NGO working in journalism field or mass communication field, if you know, like, or any other professional organization like ours, IEEE, CSI, IT, you are most welcome to recommend them to me. I will say that there is another journalism lecture series which is underway of planning, and very soon that is going to be launched. So all those professional societies I will be trying to bring on one platform.
Okay. I think you are a multidisciplinary institution now you are about to become.
It's already, it is already.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Good.
So participants, hurry up. Those who have not filled up form, please fill it up. If you do not fill up the form, we are sorry, we won't be in a position to help you. So please fill up and get certificate.
Shall I leave, sir?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, please. And thank you so much, Subramanian sir, once again.
Thank you. Next topic and
Thank you, sir.
I'll come to you.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Dear participants,
That's all, sir.
150 plus certificates have already been generated. I request all the remaining participants to please fill up the feedback form for smooth generation of your certificate.
थोड़ा सा जीसी में मिल रहा है ना हम लोग.
हाँ, जीसी में मिल रहा है सर.
देखिए मैंने कोडेड में पूछा है, कहाँ कब, ये नहीं पूछ रहा हूँ क्योंकि अभी सुब्रमण्यम सर ने बताया है.
क्या, मैं ज्यादा घूमने में बिलीव नहीं करता हूँ, आपको पता है, फिर भी मैं बता देता हूँ कि कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि काठमांडू में मिले।
नहीं
मैं बता ही दिया मैंने उनको।
सुब्रमण्य साहब अभी सुनेंगे तो मारेंगे पकड़ के हमको।
नहीं तो फिर ये तो ऐसा था कि काठमांडू मीटिंग में नहीं तो अगली मीटिंग में मिलेंगे। लेकिन anyway, कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि
मैंने
एक दिन
बोला ना
निकल
आने
लेंगे।
वाली तू।
हाँ, मैंने पिछली मीटिंग मिस की ना, तो फिर लोग कहेंगे गौड़ा साहब
थोड़ा
ऐसे
सा
नहीं करते
इंट्रोडक्शन तो था,
रहते।
चलो चलो, ओके, थैंक यू। आइए चाय पिलाते हैं।
यस सर,
Yeah,
थैंक यू सो मच। इसीलिए मैंने कहा कि टी एट होम, and we are trying to advance the technology so that we can download tea and distribute online.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bhatia sir. We'll meet again,
Okay,
right?
ठीक है।
Thank you.
All dear participants, I request you please find the link of the feedback form from the chat window. Fill in the same for the smooth automatic generation of your certificate of participation. Once you find the feedback link from the chat window, fill in the same. The certificate of participation shall automatically be generated in PDF to you. Dear participant, I request you to please note that the certificate shall be generated based upon the data filled in the feedback form. So write your name and organization correctly as you want in your certificate. Dear participants, if you have any queries related to the certificate or any problems, you may write us on the chat window. We would be happy to help you. But remind you that no help shall be given either on email or WhatsApp later on. Dear participants, I request all the participants to please fill up the feedback form. Mukesh sir, the feedback link has been shared number of times by Professor M.N. Huda sir. Please find the same from the chat window. Dear participants, it is to inform you that the recorded videos of our activities are being made available at the earliest possible on our BVI Cam YouTube channel. You may subscribe our YouTube channel to get the regular updates. The details of our YouTube channel has been shared on the chat window. Please find the same and subscribe it. Dear participants, at the chat window, you may find a link of the feedback form. Please fill in the same for the smooth automated generation of your certificate of participation. We will not be sharing this link through mail or WhatsApp later on. You are requested to please find the link from the chat window as it is the only mechanism to communicate. Dear participants, please also note that whatever data you are filling up in the feedback form, the same data will be there on the certificate. So please fill in the data, your name, your organization correctly as you want it in your certificate. Also, you may give any Gmail ID as the auto system works seamlessly for Gmail. If you have any queries related to the certificate or any issues, you may write us on the chat window. We would be glad to help you. But no help shall be given either on email or WhatsApp later on. All those participants who have already received their certificates, I thank you all for joining us. I wish to see you in our next webinar on the coming Saturday. Around 200 plus certificates have already been generated, dear participants. I request all the remaining participants who have not yet filled up the feedback form to please find the link of the same from the chat window. Fill in the same for the smooth automated generation of your certificate of participation. I request all the participants to please find the link of the feedback form for the smooth automated generation of your certificate of participation from the chat window. Fill in the same.
Ayushi,
Yes, sir.
give them 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, they should fill up the forms.
Okay, sir. Sure.
We'll close it by 7:40.
Okay, sir. Dear participants, I request all the participants who have not yet find the feedback link from the chat window to please find the link from the chat window and fill up the same for the smooth automated generation of your certificate of participation. As we are open till 7:40, once we close the window, we may not be able to help you later on either mail or WhatsApp. I request all the remaining participants to please find the link of the feedback form from the chat window. Fill in the same for the smooth automated generation of your certificate of participation. Dear participants, please note that the link for submission of feedback form will be active only till 7:40 p.m. Once we close the room, we may not be able to help you with regard to certificate of participation. Please find the feedback link from the chat window. Fill in the same for the smooth generation of your certificate of participation. I remind you, dear participants, to please enter the data which you want in your certificate correctly, as the certificate shall only be generated based upon the data filled by you in the feedback form. So please write your name and organization correctly as you want it in your certificate. Dear participants, once you fill up the feedback form, the certificate of participation shall automatically be generated in PDF. We will not be sharing this link through mail or WhatsApp. You are requested to please find the feedback form link from the chat window. Fill in the same for the smooth automated generation of your certificate of participation. Dear participants, the recorded videos of our activities are being made available at the earliest possible on our BVI Cam YouTube channel. You may view those recorded videos from our BVI Cam YouTube channel. The details of our channel have been shared on the chat window. You may find the same and subscribe to our BVI Cam YouTube channel. Now, I would like to take the name of those participants who have not yet filled up the feedback form. I request you all to please pay attention and find the feedback link from the chat window and fill in the same for the smooth automated generation of your certificate. Fidos Anamsa, Jaya Dubey, Krishna, Kumar Shivam, Mahima Menak. Only 6 participants are left to fill up the feedback form. I request all the following 6 participants to please find the link of the feedback form from the chat window. Fill in the same as we are about to close at 7:40 after another 5 minutes. We may not be able to help you once we close the window. I request the following participants to please find the link of the feedback form. The participants who are left are Firdaus Anam, Jaya Dubey, Krishna, Kumar Shivam, Mahima Menak. I request following 6 participants, only you are left to fill up the feedback form. To kindly find the link of the feedback form from the chat window, fill in the same and receive your certificate of participation. I again repeat the name of 6 participants. Only 6 participants are left who have not yet filled up the feedback form. Near around 240 feedback form certificates have already been generated to the participants. I request the remaining 6 participants to please fill up the feedback form. Firdaus Anam, Jaya Dubey, Krishna, Kumar Shivam, Mahima Menag. I request the following participants to please fill up the feedback form. Rest all participants who have received their certificate, we thank you for joining us. Wish to see you in our next webinar. I request you to please leave the room. All those participants who have received the certificate. At 7:40 p.m. sharp, we are going to close the window. We may not be able to help you in regard to the certificate of participation after 7:40 p.m. So I request the participants who are left to please fill up the feedback form and receive your certificate of participation. Another 3 minutes left. I request and give a last call to following 6 participants to please find the link of the feedback form from the chat window. Fill in the same for the smooth automated generation of your certificate of participation. Fidos Anam, Jaya Dubey, Krishna, Kumar Shivam, Mahima Menak. I request following 6 participants, Firdaus Anam, Jaya Dubey, Krishna, Kumar Shivam, Mahima Menak, to please find the link of the feedback form from the chat window. Also fill in the same for the smooth automated generation of your certificate of participation. Dear participants, once we close the window, we may not be able to help you either on mail or WhatsApp. So I request you all to please find the link of the feedback form from the chat window and fill in the same for the smooth automated generation of your certificate. Fidos Anam, Krishna, Kumar Shivam, Mahima Menak. I request the following participants to please fill up the feedback form for the smooth generation of your certificate of participation. We are about to close the window in another 2 minutes at 7:40 p.m. sharp. I again repeat the name of the participants who are left and not yet filled up the feedback form. Fidos Anam, Krishna, Kumar Shivam, Mahima, Menak. I request following 5 participants to please fill up the feedback form. Find your certificate of participation by filling up that feedback form. I thank all the participants for joining us, for taking time for us and joining our webinar. I request the remaining participants, we are about to close the window. It is already 7:40 p.m. Please fill up the feedback form. We may not be able to help you later on email or WhatsApp.
Let's close the meeting room now. Those who are not responding might have forgotten to log out.
Okay.
Right?
Thank
Okay.
you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good night to all of you.
Good night.